Hello, my name is Kelsey Wessels, and I'm a sophomore here at NKU. For my media literacy project, I decided to do crime in real life versus crime on TV. To start off my project, I would like to give you a brief history of crime. Throughout history, people have committed crimes against each other. In ancient times, the common response was one of an act of revenge. The victim or the victim's family would expect what they felt to be appropriate response to the crime committed against them. Often, these responses were not measured or proportionate. As a result, the original criminal would perceive himself or herself to have become the victim due to the actions taken against him or her that they felt did not match the crime committed. While certainly crime is a problem for all societies, the response to crimes in early societies posed their own problems. Laws that clearly defined crimes and corresponding punishments were established to both quell crime and to put an end to blood feuds that resulted in the victim's revenge. These early attempts still allowed for the victim of crime to issue the punishment, but sought to clarify that a response to a particular crime should be equal to the severity of the crime itself. Much of modern understanding of the relationship between crime and punishment can be traced to the writings of Greek philosophers Plato and Aristotle. Plato was one of amongst the first to theorize that crime was often a result of a poor education and that punishments for crime should be assessed based on their degree of fault, allowing the possibility of mitigating in circumstances. Aristotle developed the idea that the response to crime should attempt to prevent future acts both by the criminal and by others who may be inclined to commit other crimes. In the Middle Ages, criminal acts began to be thought as works and influence of the devil or Satan. Crimes were equated with sin. In contrast to ancient times, where punishments were often carried out to appease the gods, punishments were now carried out in context of doing God's work. Harsh punishments were meant to purge the criminal of sin and free them from the influence of the devil. Now we will move on to crime in the 21st century. Crime in the 21st century, as technology advances, so do the levels of crime committed. Crimes include identity theft, child porn trafficking, mass shootings, homicides, cybercrime, abuse, rapes, drug dealing, you name it, there's probably a crime for it. Not only has the amount of crime committed increased, but also the forensic science able to solve the crime has also increased. Top 10 common crimes in America are motor vehicle theft, domestic violence, underage drinking, aggravated assault, rape, fraud, prostitution, burglary and theft, drugs, and of course number 1 is murder. Although these are just top 10 common crimes in America, there are often more crimes committed throughout America and the entire world. Next, we will discuss the history of crime TVs. So just an overview of the history of crime TV. Crime drama has been around and is popular since the 19th and 20th century. Crime shows began in the 1950s when television became popular in homes in Great Britain and the United States. Although the TV was still in black and white, crime shows were one of the most popular shows that were viewed on TV. In the 1980s, several award-winning crime dramas were produced, such as Silent Witness, Inspector Morse, and Midsummer Murder. In the 2000s, CSI brought forth Forensic Science. Popular crime TV shows include Sherlock Holmes, Breaking Bad, Criminal Minds, CSI, Law and Order, Hawaii Five-0, and Chicago PD. Although these are a lot of popular shows now in the modern day, there were also very popular shows back in the 1900s that people really enjoyed watching. The point of my project is to tell you the difference between crime in real life and crime in TV. So there's definitely a significant difference between the Hollywood and the real life. when it comes to crime and the crime processing. This is especially true when it comes to evidence transfer and criminal investigations. So there are 4 big differences in crime in real life and crime in TV. So the first big difference is the time discrepancies in crime scene processing. So on TV, crime scene processing in shows takes only a few hours to get test results. So this is DNA, anything that you think could help solve a crime. This is simply not realistic with real life crime processing. In real life crime scene processing, tests can take up to several weeks to process and yield tests. For example, DNA samples take dozens of hours of lab work, and they don't always match, so the crime evidence is not always reliable. Moving on. So the chain of custody procedures is definitely different in real life and TV. Often the chain of custody is usually glossed over or completely omitted in TV shows. However, it is one of the most important things in steps of solving crime. In TV, it's not a very exciting thing to show, so they don't necessarily show it. On the other side, in real life, the chain of custody includes documentation and recording. It is one of the most important when investigating real crimes. The chain of custody is one of the most effective ways to win a case. Crime scene evidence technology also plays an important role. In many television shows, viewers believe that anything is possible with modern technology and high-tech solution, and is basically the answer to solving the crime. But in real life, crime scene processing evidence isn't always there, especially with the mundane tasks that don't yield the desired results. So in real life, if you don't have a desired result, you're not necessarily closer to solving the crime. But in TV, many viewers see that the only way to solve the crime is through the high technology. Moving on to our last job duties for crime scene processing. So when you think of watching crime on TV, there's usually the main character. This person usually handles every aspect of evidence collection, investigation work, and interrogation. However, in real life, it is practically impossible to do anything at once, and there are many professions who have separate roles in solving a crime. So you have a detective who does detective work, but you also have a lab person who does the lab work. Usually in TV, these people usually do the same thing. Now, for being the end of my presentation, I hope you guys learned a little bit between the difference of crime in real life and crime on TV. Have a great day.